Patricia, if you want to give a comment, or you can also comment on something what we've seen from a participants chat board. So you can unmute your microphone. Thanks, Patricia.
Yeah, no, I think definitely supplemental irrigation is a very important adaptation measure for agriculture, because it should not require a lot of water, so can be easily applied in areas where water availability is not high. And FAO has also been working in promoting supplementary irrigation, and especially in giving the capacity to extension services on how to irrigate and when. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia. How about you, Vinay? Vinay, do you want to comment on something what was discussed before your presentation?
Sure. Thank you for the opportunity. I like Patricia's presentation, starting from the status of the water resources, how much of the water goes into irrigation, and what are the benefits. Like she said, 20% of the area worldwide is irrigated, and it produces about 40% of the food. It's already very efficient in producing the food, and there's a lot of water going into irrigation. Definitely with changing climate, the demand for water will go up, and the efficiency in irrigation needs to improve. But I doubt the productivity will go up drastically. So there'll be saving in water, but when you look at in terms of the yields that we are achieving in irrigated areas, I think we are already close to the potential or the highest achievable amounts. But rain-fed agriculture is still widely practiced, like especially if you look at sub-Saharan Africa, about 95% of the area is rain-fed, Latin America 90%, 65% in East Asia, 60% in South Asia. So I personally feel with the changing climate and limited land and water resources available in the future, rain-fed agriculture will really have to improve its efficiency and try to use the water more beneficially, try to use the blue and green water resources beneficially to increase the productivity. And that's where I see more food coming from and more saving of water coming from the irrigated lands.
Thank you, Vinay. That's a good collection of comments in terms of what can be expected on the food production side. I will take a next question from Kemeze. If you want to address this, Patricia or Vinay, you can signal it on the chat for hosts and speakers. So Kemeze's question number 4 now. Do you see index-based insurance as a viable option for the areas where supplementary irrigation is applied?
Well, supplemental irrigation is a localized practice, and it's very difficult to say, did the farmer apply it at the right amount in the right time? And it becomes difficult to say for the index-based insurance people, well, what was the recommendation? How much did you apply? Who's at fault here? And I'm not sure if I have seen studies that link the insurance part to supplemental irrigation. It's either at a community level or at an individual level. And in our region, insurance is not very widely adopted. So I don't think I'm in a position to comment positively or negatively on this.
Do you want to comment, Patricia, or should we go to the next question?
I think we can go to the next question.
Perfect. Let's take from Domitil Valle the question now, number 5. What are the adaptation options for multiple use systems or integrated systems, as sometimes they are called, the combining irrigation, drinking water, water for livestock, water for agriculture? This can be, of course, sometimes fish ponds as well. First to you, to Patricia. Patricia, we can't hear you yet. Can you speak up? Maybe. Patricia, we can't hear you. If you can speak up, there might be some technical issue. So while we are solving that, let me hand over to Vinay, the question number 5 from Domiti. What are the adaptation options? What are some possible and most promising adaptation options for multiple use or integrated systems? Now, question number 5.
Thanks, Dhamiti, for the question. Good to see you here. Well, I recently did a study in Kazakhstan where we looked at this water leaving a reservoir and sequentially trying to monitor it, like who uses it first, in how much amount, and which quality return flows come back into the system. So how much is taken out, and then what is it used for, and what is returned into the system in a sequential manner before it reaches a sink. And what we were trying to see is who draws how much benefit, and if somebody makes a bad choice, if somebody is not using it efficiently, how people downstream get affected. And what we were trying to see here is if farmer is not very efficient in using water, but water is really cheap for him, electricity is almost free for him, there is not much incentive for him to save this water. So here multiple use come into picture. If there is a municipality that needs that same water, if there is aquaculture downstream that needs this water, but the water doesn't come in the correct amount or is too polluted, are these users interested or willing to compensate the farmer and say, please improve your efficiency, please try to grow a different crop, or please don't apply too much fertilizer, or please irrigate using modern irrigation systems such as sprinklers instead of flood irrigation, or do land leveling, whatever is involved to improve the efficiency, although it doesn't mean increase in profits or yields for the farmer, in spite that it saves water. So we are looking at these different users and their willingness to compensate the farmer so that he's willing to improve his efficiency for the benefit of others who are non-agricultural users of water. And then we could draw a plan in which they're negotiating and saying what they're willing to pay and how much can the government add in to improve the efficiency in agriculture. So that's an example of a study I did recently, and I think it relates to Damiti's question.
Thanks a lot. I'll take now the question from Abdi Moge Mohammed to Patricia. If you have success stories, for example, from India or Africa on water harvesting for irrigation or groundwater recharge, if some features of these case studies and some lessons learned. Thanks, Patricia. You can unmute yourself.
Well,
Patricia, still we can't hear you. Okay, I might now need to ask Rebecca, could you try and check with Patricia what is happening with the sound? Patricia, we still can't hear you. Something goes wrong. So, Rebecca, may I ask you to go and quickly check with Patricia so that we can get her answers. In the meantime, I would have, if you can answer to the question, the 6th question from Abdi Moge Mohammed, or alternatively the question number 7. But maybe we can, if you have success stories on water harvesting for irrigation and groundwater resource.
Well, I have an ongoing project in Western India where the water supply from the irrigation canal is very erratic. Sometimes it's weekly, sometimes it doesn't even come for 20 days in a row. So what government has done is provided subsidies to the farmers there to build water storage structures. These are cement structures with lined bottoms, and they can store this water, and they use solar powered micro sprinklers and drip systems, and they use these under plastic tunnels like small greenhouses, if you may, to grow cash crops, lots of vegetables, fruits, and it's very profitable. So although it's an irrigated environment, because the supplies are not reliable, these farmers are storing this water so that they can apply when they want to apply. So, and still it's all solar powered, it's subsidized by the government. So it's very attractive and profitable for the farmer as well as for the environment. Groundwater recharge, I have limited experience. I don't want to comment. Maybe Patricia can jump in and comment on that part.